Welcome to the Divorced Girl Smiling podcast. I'm your host, Jackie Pilossoph, and I'm here to inspire you, empower you, and connect you with trusted divorce professionals who I hope will help you achieve the best possible divorce outcome and a great post-divorce life. The Divorced Girl Smiling podcast starts right now. Before we get started, I want to tell you about two Divorced Girl Smiling trusted professionals who are wonderful. The first one is divorce attorney Renee Reed. Renee is a partner at Remley Law in Neenah, Wisconsin, and Renee has been a divorce attorney for over 20 years. She utilizes both litigation and mediation in her practice, and Renee is known for professionalism and service. I really trust Renee. I think she's a great attorney, and if you want to get a hold of her, you can find her on the Remley Law website, which is remleylaw.com, or in the Trusted Professional section of Divorced Girl Smiling. I also want to tell you about Emily Rozwadowski, a wills and estate planning attorney in Illinois. And Emily has been doing this for 17 years. And people don't realize that when your divorce is final, one of the first things you should do is get a new will and trust to have peace of mind and make sure that your wishes are all carried out. Unlike a divorce attorney, wills and estate planning attorneys have a flat fee, so you can ask Emily whatever you want. She'll spend as much time with you, and it doesn't cost any more. It's really a pretty simple process. You'll be so glad you did it. If you want to learn more about Emily, you can find her on her website, which is emilyrozlaw.com, or in the Trusted Professional section of Divorced Girl Smiling. One of the scariest aspects of going through a divorce is the major life change that you're undergoing and all of the unknowns. I believe that most people fear change. They're uncomfortable with it. They resist it. Some people stay married just because they can't handle that big of a change in their life. And unknowns are really, really scary, but they can be so wonderful as well. That's what I want to talk about today, because my guest, she's actually a life, love, and divorce coach, but she also has personally gone through so much change and embraced the unknowns. And she's perfect for this conversation because she has really walked the walk of what she helps her clients do. My guest is Michelle Heffron, life, love, and divorce coach. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Jackie. So good to see you.
You too. I'm so excited to hear your story. I want to tell my listeners that, Michelle, you really have always been, since I've known you, willing to embrace the unknown. I mean, you're a big traveler. You travel internationally by yourself. You know, that's embracing the unknown. But now you really did something that is unbelievable, embracing the unknown and unpredictability. So tell my listeners what you did, and then I'm going to ask you how you got the guts to do it.
Yeah, well, I put all of my things in storage. I lived in a high rise in downtown Bellevue. I live up in the Seattle area. And I decided that I turned 65 on Sunday. And I decided, thank you. And I decided in this new year that I was really ready for something different. I had been in my place for about 6 years and I never anticipated staying that long. So I put everything in storage. And this opportunity popped up before I put all this in storage to stay with at a friend's while they're in Mexico. And I'm here for 3 months, and I'm taking care of their sweet cat, and I'm taking care of their house and making sure that everything is going smoothly here, and taking care of vendors and all the things that you do when you watch somebody's home. And I thought, well, this would be fun for a change, as long as I can do my work, which is dear to my heart, and that's what I love to do, and my writing. And I could then see what else is possible for me. And it's a little scary because I don't know where I'm going after this, particularly yet, but it's a fun adventure. And it's for the first time in my life I've really not been tied to anyone or the area. And I thought, well, let's just go out there and explore the big wide world.
Okay, now is the place you're in close to your old place, or are you in like a different city?
Right now, I am just a few miles north of where I was. And
Okay, now
so,
I actually think that's really smart because you
yeah,
made a change, but not a humongous change.
right. I didn't completely launch off of the earth yet. And so I decided that if I was going to do something like this would be a great trial because I can always stay. I can always change my mind. I mean, we do have the option to always do that. But I thought
In
this
other
would be a
words, you
great.
could rent another place in your
I
building and go back.
could if I wanted to, but
Mhm.
I really, now what I'm realizing through this is, having put things in storage, having even downsized yet again, because I have downsized many times since my big divorce about 16 years ago now, that I just don't need all that stuff. And so now I'm really taking a second look at all the things that I have in storage and thinking what could I lighten my load with right now too, and not hold and feel like I have to have it. So it's been an
Wow.
interesting thing to go through for sure.
So tell me if you agree with me that change and doing stuff like that is actually very healthy for self confidence, for, I would say, cognitive ability, because you can't be in the same routine. You have to do all different things. So, cognitively, your mind is like going and working. So, it's good for that. And it's just, like good for personal growth, experiencing something else. Were
Yeah.
those some of the reasons you decided to do this?
Yes, I didn't want to be frantic because what I realized in my life too is, going is not the goal. And I really do feel like we need to quiet more so we can listen. And in doing something as dramatic as this, yes, my routine changed, which is kind of cool, although I can still keep parts of the things that I really enjoyed. But I also, it's a huge confidence builder because I don't know, about 3 weeks. So it was about a month ago because I just did this. I mean, this just started February 1st. Um, I did have a little bit of a meltdown. I started to second guess all of the things that I was doing. And I really went through about 3, 4 days where I was just a basket case. I don't even know how else to explain it. And had a girlfriend who came over and I, talked through it with a couple people and then realized I needed to apply my own work to what I was doing. And when I started taking my own framework that I teach and what I work with people on, and I applied it to this move, I got it all sorted out and I felt so much better about it. But, there's always going to be those moments where you're not sure that you're making the right move, but I know that I got to keep moving forward in some way.
I feel like it makes you a better coach
Yes.
experiencing it yourself. Like if I was looking for a divorce coach, I would want somebody who went through a divorce. For me, that would be just a given. Like I wouldn't want anyone. I'm not saying that there's coaches out there who are married who aren't good. I'm just saying the best coaches are the ones who have experienced it themselves, I think. And the fact that since I've known you, which is like 3 years, you're always doing something different. And, yours is all planned. You choose to do something different. But when people are getting divorced, sometimes their spouse just came home and said, I don't want to be married anymore. I'm in love with someone else. And the change and the unknowns are forced on them. So, how do people handle that?
Differently. I don't think there's any one way to do it, but I do think that getting more clarity about who you are in your own marriage, which is some of the things that we don't focus on oftentimes. We're focused on the outside of all the things that he's doing or she's doing or they're doing or what, all that other thing. And where I really want to help people understand is who they are, who they want to be through that. Because when the unknowns happen, because they do, every day is really unknown. No matter what your routine is, you don't know what's going to happen on any given day. And it's easy to let that slide, I guess, and, pretend that's not the deal. But the thing is that when we have more clarity around who we are, what we want, and we start looking at what really matters in our life and why, and questioning, but it takes some time and it doesn't happen overnight. And I think anyone who tries to change anything overnight is really, there's always going to be some way that something comes back in and tries to derail it. So it's just a process, and you have to give it time and patience and persistence. And know there's going to be some really crappy days, because change like that doesn't come without some kind of grief. We cannot avoid grief, right?
You're listening to the Divorced Girl Smiling podcast. My name is Jackie Pilossoph, and I'm your host. And today I'm talking with Michelle Heffron, life, love, and divorce coach. And we're talking about embracing the unknowns. Do you have the guts? That's the thing. When you're going through a divorce, and if it wasn't your choice, you don't have a choice. You have to embrace the unknowns. So we're going to take a break, but when we come back, we're going to offer some tips on how to get that courage, what your go-tos, where you can go for that, and all the benefits it's going to bring to you. So we'll be right back. People think that if you have a high asset complex divorce that you shouldn't mediate your divorce. Well, that is 100% not true. Mara Linder is a divorce mediator who focuses on high asset complex divorces. She's been doing this for a really long time. She's based in Arizona, and Mara understands the significance and the benefits of mediation, especially for high net worth complex divorce. If you want to learn more, Mara has been doing this for several years. She's so respected. She cares so much. She's very client-centered. It's not lawyer-centered. And it's just a peaceful way that will give you such a wonderful post-divorce outcome and life. You can find Mara at modernmediationaz.com or in the Trusted Professional section of Divorced Girls Smiling. I also want to tell you about Megan Sullivan, who is a real estate agent and a real estate collaboration specialist. She's based in Chicago, and Megan is so committed and so dedicated to helping people going through a divorce not only buy and or sell their home, but find other divorce resources. And she's all about collaboration to help people with reduction of stress and to make smarter financial decisions. If you want to learn more about Megan, you can find her at megansullivanrealestate.com, and you can also find her in the Trusted Professional section of Divorced Girls Smiling. Welcome back to the Divorced Girl Smiling podcast. My name is Jackie Pilossoph, and I'm your host. Are you afraid of the unknowns? Of course you are. Everybody is. Today we're talking about how to embrace the unknown. Do you have the guts? Yes, you do. You just have to find it. My guest is life, love, and divorce coach Michelle Heffron. You can find Michelle if you want to work with her or have a consult at michelleheffron.com. 1 L in Michelle, 2 F's in Heffron. And okay, Michelle, why are you laughing?
I'm so glad you say that, because everybody who always types in 2 L's, they can never find me, and I don't know what to do about that. I appreciate that though.
Okay, if somebody says even if somebody's listening to this and it was their decision to get divorced, but they're still scared of the unknowns, which is very understandable and normal. Either way, it's scary. How do you get the guts to embrace it and be excited about it and look at it in a positive way versus just kind of, okay, I have to find a new place to live. I can't
Right.
believe this. This sucks. I mean, like, you can completely change that entire narrative to a positive, healthy future.
Exactly. Well, I wish I could tell you there was something magic I could give you, but I do think again, going back to the process. So I like to use a framework, a little bit of a framework loosely, and talk about people's values, which a lot of people don't want to go back and talk about their values because they don't really know sometimes what their values truly are. Um, and start creating a vision. What's going to happen beyond this? Because
Okay, so wait, we start with values.
we start with values.
Okay.
Oh, and then we really move into an intention. What's your intention through this?
Okay,
So I,
so when you talk about values, what are you talking about? Like if someone says, "Well, I wish I lived closer to my family." Bingo.
yep,
Now we have something to discuss.
exactly.
Like,
So
uh-huh.
any of those. So what I can take this down, this framework down to the most simplistic way of looking at it. You could use this to plan a vacation. What are your values in a vacation? Well, do you like to camp or do you like the Four Seasons? I mean, I value luxury and nice places to stay and, a down comforter and sheets with coffee in the morning. But my best friend might like to go camping. That's not what I value. So this is the same with a divorce. Values too mean things like different things at different times in people's lives. So if you have young children, perhaps family and the care of your kids is going to be one of the values. So you attach that value throughout the divorce. So when you're setting intentions and then you really want to just rip your ex's head off, you tie that back and go, how is that going to work out with the value and the intentions and the vision I set for myself on this journey?
Okay, I want to go back to the vacation and use this as an example. So
Okay.
I bet you, Michelle, tell me if I'm right. You're working with someone and you say, "What do you value?" And they say, "Well, I've always wanted to take a vacation and I'm a luxury person and I like the Ritz-Carlton, but I just can't afford that as a divorced person." Well, I would say, well, let's talk about it. Let's find a way for you to afford. It doesn't have to be the Ritz-Carlton, but maybe you could stay at a really nice Airbnb or Marriott that has these things. Like I think what you do, Michelle, if I'm not wrong, tell me if I'm wrong, but you help people achieve what they want based on their values. And it's not going to match up perfectly, but at least they know now it's possible to take a vacation.
And I think that's the key is we start to turn the narrative around from everything is doom and gloom to what is possible now. And when people start, I have so many great stories now of women that I have worked with. I just love this. And men, I don't know why I've been getting a lot more men coming in, but the way their lives have been shifting after their divorces. One of my clients, former clients, just opened her own aerial yoga studio, and she was I mean, not even on a radar for her. And that was 2 short years ago. And I just think of some of the other ones that are in great loving relationships now that after 30 years of marriage, they thought, I'll never do that again. And actually, when we start shifting things around and turning around and looking at what's possible based on what it is we truly desire in our lives, and getting to what you truly desire takes some work because sometimes we're not even willing to admit what we want because we're embarrassed by it. So we
Yeah.
just, we just
Or you just don't even know.
or you don't know because you've been overshadowed or whatever it's been like in your marriage for all these years. And so now is an opportunity to go, you know what? I'm going to step into a new identity. And identity is part of this framework. It's like we're shedding old identities and we're stepping into new. I love this year, especially in the year 2026 with the year of the fire horse. And it's not that I'm a big, I've followed the Chinese New Year all these years, but that shedding last year of the snake, it was a big one for me. And I'm seeing that a lot in other people. And now stepping into what is your what's next, that's
Mhm.
part of the unknown. And one of my clients calls me, Jackie, this is so cute. She calls me the queen of unfolding because I think it's so important not to push, 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 push. We've got to put out there what we can do and then let the things unfold as they're meant to, because solutions start to come as long as we're not holding on so tightly to what we think the outcome should be. And I use that so much in divorce because we want to push and we want to, not manipulate, but control things. And sometimes all the unknowns really, really get beautiful and bloom when we let go of control.
Okay, so I want to tell people, first of all, that for the first thing I want to say is that you just said to at the beginning of the conversation, like, I don't have a magic pill. Well, I do. It's go to divorce coaching, because that really is the magic. If
It
you
is.
don't really know how you're going to be happy and you're listening to this, you need a coach. You need Michelle. She will help you figure that out. And I wish I would have had a coach. I got divorced in 2008. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. And it took me so much longer to figure it out by myself. If I would have had somebody who was coaching me, asking me questions, listening to what I was saying and saying to me, it sounds like this is what you value. This is what you want, because it's hard to do that yourself.
Well, and it's
And
hard to see it yourself because I so agree. I so wish I had somebody because it really, I didn't hire the right people because I didn't know better. I didn't have the right people on my team because I didn't know better. And none of it. I did everything wrong you could possibly have done. And
same, Michelle, same.
it lasts. I don't know, Jackie, about you, but it lasts. It doesn't go away. That kind of mistake sticks with you for a long time.
Well, okay, what do you mean? Like you're still paying for the mistake or you're still blaming yourself for the mistake?
Oh, I don't blame myself, but I left. I mean, the financial repercussions for me personally were dramatic, and the emotional toll it took on me, that it took me a long time to get to where I am right now. And it was through my own perseverance, but I ended up hiring later a coach. I didn't hire a coach to go through divorce. I didn't even know it was available to me back then. And later, when I hired a life coach, it changed everything for me, but it just still took time because
Yeah, yeah.
I just didn't, you get introduced to things that you never really thought about introducing into your own life. And I just feel like I don't know where I'd be without coaching. I really
Wow. Well,
don't.
I didn't have a coach, but I have a very similar story to yours. And financially, I was wrecked. I
Yeah.
made the worst decisions. I didn't
Mhm.
go back to work. I didn't go back to work for several years. I tried some things, it just didn't work out. Nothing was sticking. And it really, really impacted me financially for a long time. So, but I want people to know that Michelle and I mean, I hope you did, Michelle. I've forgiven myself.
Oh,
Everybody makes mistakes. It's
yeah.
part of life. And you have to let it go and stop saying, like, I used to, okay, I'm going to tell everybody listening, this is amazing. I used to work for Novo Nordisk. Okay. For people who don't know who that is, they make Ozempic. Had I stayed with the company, I would have millions, maybe tens of millions of dollars in my 401k, salary bonuses. My former business partners took trips all over the world with the company. You know, I can, for a long time, sat and thought to myself, I can't believe it. I'm watching these people. They're all so wealthy. I gave it all up for my kids. And now, like, I finally was just like, okay, fine.
Right.
How long are you going to punish yourself and say, I should have? I
Right.
was stupid. I made a bad decision. I mean, that's what it was. I did it.
Yep.
Move on is what I want to tell people.
It's move through it because it's painful and it's okay. But moving on sometimes, I think sometimes is such an easy thing to say. But when we actually face what's really happening and just saying, okay, here's why I feel badly. And there's so much to it. And then understanding that just taking the steps and yeah, you made that mistake. Okay, own it, own the mistake, and then start working through it into the next thing. But to continue to beat yourself up, you're right.
Completely unproductive, toxic,
Yeah.
terrible for self-esteem. And by the way, I can't believe I forgot to say this, but if somebody asks me now if I regret it with what I'm doing and what a difference I'm making and how much I'm helping people, I'd rather be doing this, no offense to Novo Nordisk, than dropping off samples of Ozempic at doctors' offices. I'm sorry, that might sound really snobby, but the work I'm doing now to me is very meaningful and I won't make as much, but I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. I love what I do. I love being able to help people through their divorces or finding love or finding themselves. I love it. I love this work. And I never would have in a million years done this had I not gone through that divorce because I could have lived in suburbia for the rest of my life and been miserable.
Well, I want to tell everybody listening that Michelle is not just like, oh, I went through a divorce and decided to become a divorce coach. Michelle was a huge, big deal in the nonprofit world. She was like a director level or VP level, high level executive. So she has the skills of listening, managing, coming up with ideas and plans. I mean, Michelle, you're not just, there's a lot of divorce coaches out there who are like, oh, I got divorced. I think I'll become a divorce coach. You're like a business coach too. Like you know how to help people in when it comes to careers.
Yes, and I work with people. So I don't work with careers so much because I think it's all about the person. And so I take coaching from this lens of, who are you, where you want to go, what are your, really kind of get back to the values. What do you want? We can't
But
get some,
a lot of times that ties in with career.
it
And
totally does.
you know what I mean? So
And,
you're
and in what I do a lot of times, even with the people I've worked through, retirements or the divorces where they're all of a sudden women are finding that they have to go back to work and they don't know what they're going to do. Well, let's find this and let's realize that the first job you take isn't going to be the end all be all. It's just a step. So everything is your next best step. But you're right. So the career part of it is huge because some people just simply, like me, I needed to go out and make money when I was after my divorce. There was no getting around it, you know? It was like
darn it.
I didn't get a big pile of money
But
there.
meanwhile, people who have to go back to work after divorce usually end up so happy, me too, me included, because like I was forced. I kicked and screamed, did not want to do it. And when I finally did it, there were so many benefits. I can't even count how many benefits there were. Okay, I want to end this by talking about the year of the fire horse for people who didn't know what that was when we were talking about it. It officially began on February 17th, so only 2 days ago.
Yep.
And it's based on the Chinese lunar calendar. It's a rare, high energy zodiac year that occurs once every 60 years. It was last in 1966, and it's characterized by intense, fast paced, and transformative energy, often associated with bold actions and significant change.
Yep.
So, wow, if somebody's listening and they're getting divorced, that's inspiration right there.
Exactly. Exactly, Jackie. I'm glad you brought that up and read it because it is interesting. I live in an area where there's a pretty large Chinese population, and so I've been able to learn more and more about the culture, and it's fascinating. It's ancient, and that energy is part of the work that I do anyway, because energy is pretty much everything. And I think that that is just one more element to kind of consider as I'm looking at my big 2026 adventure. And, you know, who knows where it will go from here. But I'll be checking in. I write about this pretty much every week. And so people can check out my blog if they want as well.
And they can call you and have a consult and you can help them. What's so
Absolutely.
wonderful is that we can all work from anywhere we want. So,
Love that.
all these things, if you want to do something or go somewhere else, a lot of people can do it because of their work.
Yep.
Michelle, thank you so much for taking time to talk about this. What a wonderful conversation.
Thank you so much, Jackie. As always, it's wonderful to see you. Thank you.
And you can find Michelle at michelleheffron.com, 1L in Michelle, 2 F's in Heffron. You can also find Michelle at divorcedgirlsmiling.com. She's one of our trusted professionals. You can find her under coaches. And you can also go to Divorced Girl Smiling to listen to more podcasts, read articles on every topic you can imagine having to do with divorce and dating, and find other wonderful, trusted, vetted divorce professionals like attorneys, mediators, financial advisors, real estate agents, and more. Thanks so much for listening, everyone. We'll talk to you real soon.